What year were you born, Jim?
1926.
1926.
My mother's from Italy.
Ah, okay.
She was born on the ship coming over here.
I'll be darned.
And my dad born up in Missouri.
Okay.
He born in St. Joseph, Missouri. Dad, I don't know where Grandpa come from. He was tall, better than 6.
Great big guy.
Big, tall, erect,
Yeah.
handlebar mustache. He's just a picture of an old Englishman.
Yeah.
Oh, and my daddy wasn't.
Yeah. What part of San Antonio did you guys live most of the time?
South side.
South side?
Definitely south side.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lived out south of town about 6 miles, I guess.
South Presa, okay.
Out by St. Cecilia's Church.
So, cool.
Them days, south side and the north side was a lot of difference. I went to St. Cecilia's Catholic Church on South Presa Street. I went to elementary school right across the street.
St. Cecilia's.
And I lived just across South Presa Street, second door on the left, for a long time until they moved us out.
Yeah.
But we rented.
Yeah.
We rented till I bought that house.
So you were baptized and confirmed and
Yes,
everything there?
there until I got married. When I got married, I changed over to the Methodist. I had 5 brothers and 1 sister. Well, my brother below me was Ernest. The next one was Lewis, and then my sister Geraldine.
Geraldine? Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then the next one was Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
He's passed. And then the next one was Robert. He was in the Navy.
Okay.
And then the last one is Bobo. His name is Roy.
Right.
One in between, and I don't remember what year it was, but she lives to be 3 months old.
Died in childhood. Yeah.
I was the oldest.
The oldest, the leader of the pack, huh?
Leader of the pack is right.
Yeah. So with 7 kids, they were all born before you left the home, even though you were the oldest. Is that correct?
Yeah, they were born for, because the youngest is 82.
82. Cool. That's a long life too.
There was 2 in the Army, 2 in the Navy, and 2 in the Marine
I'll be
Corps.
darned.
Oh, all 6 of us.
All of you served. That's great.
My mama's lucky.
Yeah.
She couldn't believe it. She
Yeah.
says
They all got through things.
yeah.
Nobody got killed.
Well, they didn't go all during the wars, but
Yeah.
as they come down. The brother in the Marine Corps was in Korea,
Mm.
and then and the next 2 was in Korea. And then I guess the last one, he didn't go. He was
Between.
in the Army, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
There's out of the 7 of us, there's 4 left.
4 siblings are still living.
3 boys
Yeah.
passed away.
Okay.
One just passed away at 80.
Yeah.
90. He had his 90th birthday next month.
Yeah. Yeah. So he would have been about 3rd in line.
Yeah.
What
Second
were-
in line passed away. He got his first Social Security check.
Yeah. And died right after.
Matter of fact, they had to turn it back in.
That's right. Work all your life, finally get a check, and then you don't get to use it.
My folks didn't talk in front of the children.
Okay.
They wanted to talk. They went in the other. They didn't figure it was necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a theory then. Of course, I picked up a lot of stuff that the other ones didn't
Yeah, because you're oldest.
because I was the oldest. Well, about the little girl passing away in the crib
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
The other ones didn't know that.
But you see, when we lived, we always had a room for Mom and Daddy
Mm-hmm.
and the baby in a crib, whichever one it was.
Yeah.
When they wanted to talk, they'd go in that room. It was just stuff that the kids didn't need to know.
Right.
That's just the way it was.
Yeah. My grandparents were that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's different.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a child 1 year old knows what's going on.
Yeah.
My mother didn't work. She had her,
Home.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Them days, Mama took care of the kids.
Yeah.
My Papa went to work.
Yeah. What was your mom's name again? I forgot.
My mother's name,
Yeah, she said she was her maiden name
Conjetta.
from Italy,
Yeah.
but born on the railroad.
Yeah. That was a story.
Yeah.
And they say she was born in them days when you migrated into here, wherever you settled, in her case, that's where you was born.
Okay.
So she was actually, by records, born in Waco, Texas.
I'll be darned.
That's where they settled.
Okay.
The Italians settled in the Delta.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at how these people, like the Germans and Dutch, Bohemians and all, where they settled, that was the type of country they lived in, more or less.
Like from where they came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lived in the city and had just a little lot, all rent house, but had a little backyard. Matter of fact, that's where I was burnt my hand, and that's where Mama used to boil her clothes in a black pot. But my mother was a staunch Catholic. Matter of fact, when I was 8 years old, I used to go to San Antonio River. We was down about 2 miles from the house. And I used to go to San Antonio River and fish, swim, what have you. And so I made boats. We'd make a boat, and we took a piece of tin, the corrugated tin, pull it together and put a 2x4 up there, and then put a apple box end.
Oh, okay.
And you know what I'm talking about, an apple
Yeah, apple crate.
crate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the end of it would be just right to put on the back.
Yeah.
So it was Sunday morning. I was out there in the backyard. I had a fire built and I was melting tar that I'd swiped off the street.
To seal it up.
Melting that tar to fill that thing. Because I wanted to go down.
Down the river.
Yeah.
Navy guy.
When I think about carrying that boat down there,
That's a load.
you know, I think, well, how did I do that? But anyhow, I had a can there on there, and then that stuff was tar boiling, and then you just,
Pour it
seal
on.
it.
Yeah.
Mama says, Jimbo, time to go to church. I say, Mama, I want to wait. I'll go later. You better come go. No, Mom, I'm gonna go. We're gonna have boat races. She said, all right, you'll be sorry. I can just hear her right now. I picked that can up with a pair of pliers. Pick that thing up with a pair of pliers, see what happens. No, without the handle on it.
Oh. It slipped right out.
Tore my hand all up. Hot,
You'll
boiling
be
tar.
sorry.
Bless your heart. She says, what happened? I told you. I knew something happened.
Yeah. They'll teach you not to go to church. So now I know when you say see you at church, you're trying to keep us guys out of trouble, aren't you?
Yeah. But anyhow, that's it. I don't know about talking all this stuff.
Yeah. It's fun stories.
Huh?
It's fun stories. Yeah. I still.
She was Italiano.
Italiana. What was her best dish that she would make for the family? What'd she like to make?
Well, that ain't what she liked to make, it's what she made. That's some spaghetti.
Yeah.
No meatball. Yeah, one meatball.
One meat.
You heard that song? We had a garden, a little garden in
Yeah.
backyard.
Grew her own vegetables,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much, but we just,
fresh as could be.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I didn't get from the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
And my daddy had a hard time. Like I say, he'd work a job, and the reason I don't like politics, I'll tell you, is for the simple reason that when the jobs he had was political, and when this fella that he was with, his party, when they got out of office, my daddy lost his job. And during them times, it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to go from whatever job he could work to take care of the kids, which he done very well.
Yeah, dedicated to the family.
I know he never had an automobile. He walked all the way to town. Poor guy.
Yeah, wore out quite a pair of shoes unless he went barefoot.
Incidentally, you mentioned shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember what he done to his shoes. He put cardboard in them inside because they would wore out. Now, I'm not complaining. When he went to town, he wore a tie and almost wore a suit. He would dress.
Looking proper.
He did. But like I say, he was a teller in the bank at one time, and then he went from there. Times got tougher and tougher, and he worked down around Tilden on the bridge.
I'll be darned.
And he was different things, but he was pretty much pen and pencil oriented, I call it. He liked me.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he was most time was a timekeeper.
Okay.
That was his. Followed right along in his business.
Cool.
But there was times when timekeeper didn't mount any. He had to do something else.
Yeah.
I ain't got no complaints about my.
It's been a long and prosperous life with a lot of kindnesses to a lot of different folks, Jim. You're much admired, my brother.
I started working when I was 8 years old. I worked in a poultry house. From then on, alongside of that, I helped newspaper boys pack their papers in their bags on their bicycles.
Yeah.
And I used to earn 2 or 3 cents, which was something.
Something back then. What year?
I went to elementary school. I went to junior high school. I went to high school, Brackenridge High School, George W. Brackenridge
Okay.
High School.
Yeah.
Now at 15 years old, I quit school for a little while and went to work at Kelly Field. Yeah, I was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was during the war,
Yeah. Right after.
right at the wartime.
Did you-
Anyhow, I ended up working at Kelly Field, and then I went back to school to finish.
Well, good. You got your high school diploma done, huh?
Yes, but now you're speaking of the diploma. Well, I didn't get my diploma because I went and joined the service before in my senior year. And the reason them days, if you went into the service, well, they would consider you graduated if your grades was up to par in your last semester.
Okay.
In which they were. That was January.
So they never issued you the diploma later?
Later, when I got out, I went to Trinity University. I got my diploma.
Cool.
No, we was considered,
Graduated, yeah.
yeah, but as far as getting to go through
The formalities
No,
of graduation,
no.
sir.
ours was I was out in probably, when that happened, I was probably in Hawaii,
Yeah, already.
going to the South Pacific. You got to realize it was a tremendous amount of 17-year-olds.
Went into service. Do you remember when they actually did announce World War II engagement and the Pearl Harbor announcement?
No, I don't.
Don't remember.
I can't say
Yeah.
that I remember too much about it. I guess I was working at Kelly Field.
Yeah, when it happened.
I worked on a crash crew. I know that. I didn't fly, But we worked the crash unit, went out and picked up these planes,
Yeah.
B-24s. Well, there was one of them right over here at where Palo Alto and Somerset Road come together. What's the name of that beer joint? He left Kelly Field and come over. I was working in the reclamation department, and they come over our heads, and we could hear the noise of the engine over revving. And he crashed, one with the engine behind. We picked it up.
Yeah, all the parts.
Yeah, and anyhow, this country here was all open at that time.
Yeah.
There was nothing there, but just this beer joint. I worked in the reclamation department, and that was, they called me Sparky.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I drove then, and I drove an old carry-all or pickup there, GI pickup. It filled it full of spark plugs.
Okay.
And I took them and buried them over on the Leon Creek.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, right.
That's why they call me
Sparky.
Sparky. I know of three.
Okay.
One of them was a B-24 that just left and fell over in one of them corn patches.
Oh, yeah?
Out, just right out. See, the Belgians at one time owned all that
Yeah, all the
property.
Belgian Gardens area.
Yeah, all that, yeah. And that's 24. And I was sent in, I don't know if this is pertinent here or not, but anyhow, my job, because I was a little kid, they sent me in to this B-24 down in the belly of it, and they had, on the B-24, they had big rubber tanks.
Bladders, yeah.
Oh, no, for fuel.
Yeah.
And I crawled in, my job was to crawl in, and the batteries for it was behind them tanks, right there. And I had to go in there and unhook them batteries.
And hopefully not make any sparks.
I didn't think of that. Too young to worry about it. That was one of my deals. Then I went in there and took them on, come out.
Younger years.
Yeah.
Young and foolish, do anything.
Yeah, but if I'd have made a spark, it'd have blown the whole thing up. But anyhow, that's...
So it was okay to be named Sparky, just not be Sparky.
Yeah. And then I went back to school.
Yeah. So that shortly after that, you made the decision to enlist in the Navy. Do you remember what made you decide to choose the Navy? What got you to be out on the ocean?
I always liked the water.
Okay.
I've got a picture at home of when I was 32 months old, dressed in a sailor's uniform.
I'll be darned. How about that?
And I had Navy in mind all.
From the get-go.
Yeah. Once a sailor, always a sailor.
Yeah. Where'd you go enlist? You remember the enlistment station, or where you took your oath to enter the service?
Yeah.
Where was
Fort Sam Houston.
Fort Sam.
But that's where they took us all in and give us our shots and lined us up and told us we make good shark bait.
So, what was your first assignment once you enlisted in the Navy? Where'd you go?
Well, I had to go to boot camp
Yeah, where'd you do boot camp
in
training?
San Diego, California. I was indoctrinated, like the rest of us. I was in the 96 company in January.
Your years?
44.
44.
Yeah, because I signed up, but I couldn't do it. My mother wouldn't
Let you go
give me
early.
permission till I was 17. That's when I went down there and found out I had to be 17 years old.
And then she couldn't stop you at 17, but she wouldn't give you permission at 16.
Well, no. And then she wanted me to finish school too.
That's good.
I was in San Diego.
Then right out to ship, right out to sea?
Well, then I went to work while they was waiting to get rid of it. You see, 96 companies of 150 men is a lot of people. And so after I got out of boot camp, they put me in they put a bunch of us while we was waiting to get leave. put us in working on shoes. What do you call it?
What is a
What do you call it?
cobbler? A cobbler, right?
Well, yeah, well, and my job was just taking heels off because 21 days you trained, and them 21 days you wore a pair of shoes out.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So everybody turned in their shoes, and we'd knock the heels and replacing the heels, and that was my job. Cobbler shop.
Cobbler shop.
Yeah. Then I left there, and they shipped us to Hawaii. I went aboard a fleet tanker hauling high octane fuel, which I never realized and never thought about it till after the war.
Yeah, another
When they
dangerous
blowed up a
occupation.
bunch of them.
Yeah. I was wondering, when you were in, did you have enough time to get in any trouble?
No.
Too busy fighting the war.
That's right. No, that's what you went to boot camp for.
That's right.
They took all that stuff out of your brain and put it in and filled it up with their stuff. That's the only way I know to explain it.
That's good. It worked.
Man, you got to remember too, as just a kid.
Yeah.
And I got to Hawaii, and I was at Aiea. Aiea is at Oahu, is on the island. I stayed there just a little while, and I think it was June. They took us and called us on us aboard ship. They needed this ship that I was assigned to. That they needed 5 or 7 men. I can't remember exactly. So we come out of the bullpen. That's what we called it, and I went aboard that ship. I was on what they call an auxiliary repair landing.
Repair.
It's 327 foot. It's a LST converted to this repair ship. Tokyo Rose, when she was describing a ship, and she talked, we used to get her
On the radio.
yeah, trying to change our minds, you know. But she didn't know what we were. She didn't know what type of ship we were. We made invasions. That's what we done.
Yeah.
First wave, we went in with when they want to come in, went in an invasion. We went in, pulled ships off because they didn't drop anchor out and go in to the beach, and they unload the men, and then they're supposed to back out, but I couldn't explain an invasion.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's unexplainable.
Yeah. A lot of chaos, a lot of damage.
A lot of dead people,
Yeah.
because I know in the boat, I hate to say this, but I was a coxswain at that time, and I run a skipper's boat. I haul the skipper around.
Yeah.
And anything else in a small boat. Oh yeah, I run the boat, yeah. That's what a coxswain was.
Okay,
Later become a boatswain's mate.
okay.
But anyhow,
Set its direction and get it to where it's supposed to go, right?
well, I was the guy that done the hauling.
Yeah.
And anytime a boat left the ship, I had it.
Yeah.
That was my job. Mike, same name as the man that owned him. Listen, the man just took his dog with him.
And he went to all the different battles. He'd hide out on the ship.
all the whole time, from Pearl Harbor on. That's a boatswain's call, they call it.
Boatsman's call.
Boatswain, yeah, call. Otherwise, I got on the loudspeaker and I made the calls, and that's what they went by.
Or what to steer by, huh?
That was a conversation. It was nothing talking.
You had mentioned to me before that there's a lot of repair capability on your ship.
We repaired all kinds of ships. I had an opportunity when I got out to become a second-class diver.
It doesn't just, you can only go so long or so deep.
Well, actually, a tended diver is what it was.
Okay. That's
they,
what the guys have those helmets on, and they're
Oh,
actually
yeah, they were
underwater welding and stuff.
underwater well. We lost one guy.
Yeah. So your ship had plenty of steel, raw steel stock and stuff that they worked on,
Well,
or they
much as we had, yeah.
and then they just salvaged some from something
Yeah,
else.
we were just converted, and it really was something. They didn't make many of them.
Yeah. LST is the one where it flaps down, the tanks can come out, right?
Yeah, but
Yours was welded shut.
all was welded shut,
Yeah.
and that whole tank deck where them tanks and stuff were in there, that was all lathes.
Yeah. Well, heavy duty machine shop stuff to fabricate anything needed.
Yeah, we made everything.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't. Them days you didn't fly nothing in or nothing like
You
that.
had to make it on site.
Yeah, we had to make it.
Yeah.
And
That must have been impressive to see.
it was all right.
That's the
That's
deck,
above decks.
the surface deck where there's.
Above decks, that's where the crane. See, we had another ship alongside of us. We repaired ship.
Now, that surface didn't have any of your machining or equipment. That was all inside, right? Covered from the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all like the welding equipment, machining equipment
Well, no, the welding machine,
had to be up top.
top side. I seen them deep six. Susie, anybody,
Big-
humans or else.
Yeah, it could be a permanent anchor.
You lost it. If you lost a crew member,
You could
if you was
get
in convoy, when we was in convoy one time, I don't remember where it was at, and a Marine fell off a ship
man overboard.
up ahead of us, and he was, they don't stop. So as he went along, and I got my boat ready, I was getting ready to get off because he was up ahead, and I could get off and maybe get him and get back to the ship because they don't stop.
No, they got to.
I mean, they're going.
No, you'll be a sitting duck if you stop and you run
Yeah,
into
no,
it.
you don't. You got
You're
25 or 30 ships,
Yeah, you're underway.
and yeah. But anyhow, I got all ready, and here a shark come after me,
Gosh.
and he pulled his clothes off, which was very smart because we could
That's where
see
the-
it.
That's where the smell is. And he
Yeah,
didn't want to
and the
sink.
shark went through his clothes. By then, somebody had got to him and
Saved
picked him up.
his life.
We wasn't too far from land
Yeah.
because I think in the distance I could see land. I could see it. It was that close. But I just, thank goodness I didn't hit because there wasn't very many ships behind us.
Yeah.
And I'd have been in a heck of a shape
Yeah.
if I couldn't have caught up.
Yeah.
But we repaired just numerous, and we had, at one time we had on our side, on the sides, not our ship, but these particular ships, they had, they called them LCIs, and they had some ramps, and we had to take them ramps off and install some other type of ramps. I can't remember the names. I know, but I can't remember.
But you had to modify stuff.
Oh gosh, yes.
Say the name of the ship again.
Endymion.
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 Its name of all repair ships were named after Greek myths.
So that's a Greek mythology thing. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and just like your cruisers was named after states, cities. States was,
Yeah,
well, as St. Paul was a cruiser.
yeah.
Texas was a battleship.
The food, when you're on the ship, what was food like?
Well, when we had it,
When
I remember one time we got some turkeys. I remember the dates on them, 1938. They come out of Australia,
38, they'd been frozen all that time or something?
well, I guess.
Yeah.
We eat them anyhow.
Yes.
I was fortunate because I run the small boat, they call it,
Yeah.
and I'd get out on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground, field, solid ground.
Just to stand. I'd tell the engineer, I'd say, and the bow hook. I had a what they call a bow hook. At Okinawa, we were sitting there, and the skipper went in to, and I tell him, I said, y'all lay off out there a little bit. I want to walk on land. Yeah, we had one destroyer come in there, and we went over where he's at, and 2 suicide planes had hit him. They come, one from each direction. See, suicide planes, I don't know, people don't know, but when they left Japan, they never went back.
Right.
They had just enough to get where they're going and drop their bombs and do and whatever they had to do.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's why they call them suicide planes.
Yeah. One-way trip. They signed up for it, and that's what they
Yeah.
did.
And in Okinawa, they were really bad.
You remember seeing them hit ships?
Oh, well, we shot them down.
Oh, yeah?
We shot, I don't remember how many.
Yeah.
He was,
In fact, some of the paperwork you have there describes the type of guns and the number of
Oh,
rounds
yeah, I was
fired
on
and stuff.
my position was on a loader on a quad 40 millimeter, 4 millimeter. I done I didn't put the ammo in the gun itself, but I took it from the rack to the handler.
Yeah.
These suicide planes was, if they got shot, they shoot part of them off, and them little Zeros, you could knock parts of them off and they still go. The only places you could go is where that big, that's what they used to say, when that big rising sun was in the side of them. If you hit there, then
Then they stopped them. That was the time.
yeah, but when they got hit, they suicided into a ship. We had one of them that come over us and suicided into a freighter, right into the hole. That was just part of the day. You didn't even carry a camera.
Right.
You couldn't even carry a camera.
Yeah. Everything held tight, classified, try to keep the information from getting to bad guys.
Yeah, you never even smoked a cigarette on deck because that light.
Oh, yeah, they could see it.
Yeah, the Japs would see it. We come back, our ship left Okinawa after the invasion.
You were on your way back after the surrender in your vessel headed toward Hawaii, but you said you got torpedoed on the way back?
Yeah, on the way home.
So the
Yeah, we got torpedoed off the island of truck. This guy,
Yeah.
and he hit us in the fantail, which is the rear of the ship, and knocked our steering out.
Yeah.
Well, when he hit us, I was topside, standing there, drinking a cup of coffee, looking at it. And I didn't know what it was. Well, when they fired them torpedoes, you see them in the water. One hit right where I was at, right under me. And then I run up forward, midship, and I saw another one. It went underneath us. And the third one went right by the bow because we was, just out of control.
Yeah.
And he was over here. But when it did, it's
Just the erratic movement without your steering. They couldn't change direction of the torpedo.
But anyhow, after we got torpedoed, we pulled in Anahuac, and I think it was Anahuac, and
Famous
worked on it a little bit, and then we hand steered all the way into Pearl Harbor, and they repaired us, put us in dry dock, and we stayed there for quite a while. When we left there, I had seen the ships going to Japan to sign a treaty.
Yeah. The Japanese sub didn't know that the war was over,
No.
I guess, huh? Yeah. So he hit with one.
He didn't care.
Didn't care.
Matter of fact, there was a guy that went over into Japan, and he interviewed the guy that was a skipper on the one that torpedoed us.
Well, that must have been interesting. do
Yeah.
that interview.
I read that over and over.
Yeah.
I was aboard that ship for all them almost 2 years.
So you're in Hawaii, and did they start mustering people out pretty quick at the end there? Let you head on home, put you on a ship back to San Diego or San
No,
Francisco?
no.
What happened?
No, I stayed with my ship.
Okay.
I never come home from the time I got in Hawaii and then through all the invasion
Okay.
till the end of the war.
Okay. So your ship got repaired, and you brought the ship back to the States?
Astoria, Oregon.
Astoria. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
And then I got to leave home. Right.
Okay. And then did you go back to your ship again, or?
Yeah, I went back to my ship, and then I got discharged.
Okay. So from Astoria, you got to come home to San Antonio. How'd you get home? Up by train or bus or
Train.
Yeah,
I come back by train.
yeah.
Come back into the Katy Depot, MKT Railroad.
Yeah, MKD, MKD. One thing I know that for many years you actually worked the railroad. Did you do that? Start doing that right after military service, or did you have other things in between?
Oh no. I rodeoed for a while, and then I found out that wasn't for me, and I couldn't make no money.
Yeah.
I had to have money all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I rode bulls and bareback horses.
Yeah. Which bull convinced you it wasn't for you?
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. But I didn't like that life.
Yeah, too rowdy.
Well, it just wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. You had to travel around on the road a lot.
Oh yeah, you had to go from here to there.
Yeah.
But I had to work. I never won nothing.
You just got beat up.
Well, just got beat up. You had to have a sponsor.
Mm-hmm. For a few seconds, anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we carried them. I mean, we lived with them animals.
Do they move by truck and trailer?
Oh yeah.
Hard to come by.
There wasn't no money in it.
Yeah.
Them days, there wasn't no money in it.
Yeah.
I even went to Mexico
Did you?
with the Wild West show.
I'll be there.
Well, he'd come out of Austin, the guy. I forgot the guy's name. But all of the stock come out of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Come out of the United States.
Yeah. What did you do in the show?
Had special bucking horses,
Yeah.
special bulls. And then we just hauled them, went all the way down to Guadalajara.
I'll be darned.
No, I was still living at home
Oh, okay.
when I was,
With the folks, okay.
yeah. Because when I got out of the Navy, I bought my parents a home. You could get a loan.
Like the VA, the
Yeah,
veterans
yeah.
could get a home loan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$7,000, I think.
Yeah.
I got that place for them over on Edinburgh Street
Uh-huh.
by Page Junior High School. Anyhow,
I bet they were pleased and surprised that you could do that.
oh yeah. Well,
It was the right thing to do, right?
oh yeah. Well,
Edinburgh.
they sacrificed a whole lot for us,
That's right.
but for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Them days are different than they are now.
Yeah. We have, so many of us have no idea what it was like. Yeah. And you're living at home, and that's when you met Isabel at near this restaurant?
I wasn't ever gonna get married.
Yeah.
I'd drive my cattle trailer
Yeah.
there.
So how'd you guys meet?
Over there to where I parked my trailer
Yeah.
on Zazamora.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant, and we parked behind it.
Yeah.
That's where I was at when I come in. I used to go there, and that was our hangout. And she lived right next door to it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the lady that introduced us, she's still alive, stood up with at our wedding. I was 6
Okay.
years
Her senior.
older than she was. She's going to school.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
she wasn't but 18 years old.
Oh, okay.
She had a job uptown
Uh-huh.
when she got out of school. When I come in, I'd come in a truck and trailer.
Uh-huh.
Well, there was room for two of them to park there. I mean, that's hard to believe nowadays because there's so many houses and stuff. But anyhow, and when I'd come in, I'd have to come around the corner and then line up to go in there. And her little brother was just a little bitty tyke. And he'd say, "Here comes your wheat wart."
So it kept from her little brother not being able to say sweetheart. Huh?
There you are.
That's funny.
And it stuck with it all these years.
How long were you all married?
61 years, like in
61
12
years.
days
Yeah, like in 12 days.
when she passed away.
Passed away. Yeah,
We got married in 1951.
51.
My wife was a Methodist, and we got married in the Methodist church right there off of Santa Zamora. My wife said, "No, I'll go join the church." "No, I want to do what you want." That's when I become a Methodist. Yeah, she passed away in 2012.
Story you told me long ago, I think when you were living up off the other road,
Home place.
about you and Isabel and hauling cattle and brakes or something going out on a truck she had, going up and down some hills that were iced over. Do you remember telling me that story? How proud you were of how she was able to handle that truck on her own?
I don't know if she had several times.
She had a lot of
Jimmy
gumption.
wasn't even born. My oldest boy was, and he's 79, 69.
69. Isabel was quite a pistol. She could do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
She was quite a gal. What was Isabel's maiden name again? Packham?
That was her maiden name.
I'll be darned. Packham. Okay.
Packham. Yeah, she was sick from 2000 to 2012.
Yeah. One other thing with Isabel that I remember, it was quite a deal, was when you guys went on a cruise.
Yes.
And she enjoyed doing that cruise deal, but she was in her scooter
Yeah.
and had a mishap. And I remember you telling me how amazed you were about the medical care she got. Can you tell a little bit about that story?
Yes, we was on with Princess Cruise Line. We went down to the Caribbean, all the way
Cozumel
down,
and
all the way down.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we got between here and Cancun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first 24 hours out. They'd tell you what the activity was for the coming day. She had it all planned out. So this morning, first thing we had breakfast, and then so I had to stay in front of her all the time
Yeah.
because she'd run over you. I told her, I said, "Sweetheart, I got to sit down. I got to rest a little bit." And she said, "I'm going to go up here in this next little place, see what's going on there." So she goes up there. 5 minutes later, somebody comes and says, "Are you Mr. Shelton?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Your wife just fell. She started in that place with a scooter, and she didn't have no lights on. It was dark. And evidently, I don't know yet, but I know it had to be. Somebody grabbed that steering, and when you grab it, that
Speed
controls the speed.
Yeah.
And they grabbed the reverse and backed her over
Whole flight of stairs.
down to the deck, outside deck. And it's flattened out. And the time I got there, she said, "Sweetheart, I messed up."
Yeah.
And we got down there, Belize. I hired a taxi cab, hauled them back to Cancun. And then we stayed there a week, and we flew home.
And you all had,
3 boys and a girl. I have 18 great-grandchildren.
that's remarkable. Yeah.
My daddy-in-law was a railroad man, and he wanted to get me off the road,
Yeah.
and took me up there and got me enlisted in the railroad.
Okay. What year about was that you started railroading?
52.
52?
A year after we got married.
I'll be there. Okay.
Her whole family was all railroad people. I was brakeman for a while. Well, you're always a brakeman to some extent. When I hired out, it was called the IGN, International Great Northern.
Ah,
But it wasn't long to turn into Missouri Pacific. Later become the Union Pacific, which it is now.
okay.
I run from here to Laredo.
Mm-hmm.
I run from here to Taylor, Texas,
Where's Taylor?
north of Austin.
Okay.
And actually that line runs all the way
To
to
Chicago.
Longview, Texas.
Longview, okay.
Yeah. I had a lot of experiences on the railroad.
I'll bet. But go ahead.
Well, this lady got on at Laredo.
Uh-huh.
See, all them, we call them wetbacks then,
Yeah.
but they were good. The dope wasn't involved in it.
Yeah.
But anyhow, she had a little bitty baby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she had a husband with her or what, but she got on Laredo and went all rode all the way to San Antonio. Got to San Antonio, pulled into the yards, and I'm in the caboose, and I'm watching because we're going in the yard, and I was watching for the switch, and I see her throw that baby off to a guy on the ground. And she went to get off, and she fell, cut her legs off.
Oh, yeah.
She stayed in the hospital here for, I don't know how long. I used to read about her every now and then.
Yeah.
She might have stayed here forever, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
But
what-
when you fall off of a railroad car, you normally go into the wheels.
Yeah.
I seen all this. I called the
Yeah.
ambulance.
Yeah.
The guy riding on the train, he
Yeah,
got
went
off.
first. Yeah.
He got off.
And he's,
I mean, it's hard to explain until you see.
yeah, what happened?
I couldn't start to explain.
Yeah.
Every day was something.
Something like that.
Every day was something different.
Yeah. Do a lot of card playing in the caboose?
No.
What you guys
No,
do?
when you're en route,
You're working.
you're worried about the train.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things can happen to a train. It don't just run up and down the railroad. I mean, wheels could come off, wheels could get hot, or anything. I mean, there's always something. Nowadays, they've got it pretty well ironed out.
Yeah.
That's the reason they only got 2 men.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to work the railroad, the ones that worked here, there, and supplied all before the trucks come in. Y'all probably wouldn't remember that.
Before
You can-
semi trucks.
Yeah, before the semi truck, we done that. We done that. Like I used to switch at Von Army.
Mm.
We set out a car there at Von Army, and we set out tank coal cars, which with stuff in them. And I don't doubt that my house was built out of the material that come in them coal cars.
Yeah. This is the stuff, the scrap stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and you may spend an hour there.
Now, are these coal-fired steam engines or what?
No, this was diesel.
Diesel. Okay.
I come in on the era going
Coal.
out.
They're hauling coal. Okay.
Oh yeah. We used to put 2 cars there at the spur there in Von Army, and then 1 car for Fisher feed store.
So how many years altogether with the railroad?
36.
Wow. I think didn't a few years ago, Jim, didn't you get to go on one of those honor flight trips to
Oh,
DC?
I went on an honor flight to Washington DC.
What year? Were actually any of your shipmates there with you, or just a whole bunch of other veterans from World War II?
No, there was World War II veterans.
Yeah.
There was only 17 of us.
Mm-hmm.
We viewed everything.
All the monuments in DC.
Oh, yeah,
How long were you there? Just a weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I remember how thrilled you were when you got back
Oh,
home
yeah, we
sharing
got-
that story.
we got to see all of the Lincoln Memorial and the all about the Pacific.
The war in the Pacific.
Yeah. Here one day and back the next.
That was a quick trip. Yeah.
Yeah, quick trip. It was well organized.
Yeah.
And we got to see everything.
That's wonderful.
My great granddaughter made a trip over from her school,
Yeah,
the same place I went.
that's cool.
When she got back, her daddy told me, says, Pop, they call me Pop, says, Pop, she wants to talk to you and explain some of the stuff she saw. We have never got together.
Yeah.
In Florida. Well, that's where the guy that throwed the parties,
Yeah.
he was a member of the ship.
Okay. He'd throw the events in
Yeah, and all the reunions and stuff.
down there.
Well, not all of them. Some of them was in California. If we hadn't won the war, from my knowledge, you would either be speaking Japanese or German.
Yeah.
But really, that's the way I look at it.
A lot of sacrifice from you and folks that you saw gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, we thank you so much for what you did.
Something signed by the president is important stuff.
Yeah, he sent it to us in there. Bill Clinton.
Congratulating the crew of your vessel for their courage,
Yeah,
honor, and distinguished service in the South Pacific, and that you got home safely. And he was recognized. You guys had a get together. You went to it
what's that?
in '93. You got to go to the gathering with your shipmates.
Well, yeah, we had ship's reunion
Yeah.
every year
Yeah,
in Florida,
in Florida. Okay,
and he sent us that.
yeah. That must be really something to see your old shipmates. When's the last one of those you ever got to?
I don't know.
That's what, 27 years ago, that one. Report of action by a surface ship, so you even had an example, didn't get to have it until it was declassified, but it gives some background about your vessel and the array of the ships and what you endured, and this one is actually
That on the
deal with
back,
Okinawa, right?
yeah.
Yeah. The array of the ships and where
See, that was
positioned.
that was in 1945.
Yeah,
This is the location of the ships
and you guys are right here, right?
in the harbor, and that was us right there.
Yeah.